We'll now be selecting substrings with slice notation. So slice notation provides us a way to select multiple characters in a string instead of just a single character. So there are two main integer components to slice notation. There's a start location and a stop location, each separated by a colon. So it's going to look like this: start, colon, stop, and it will be placed inside of these square brackets. So let's see how this works. Let's create our same string again. And now, let's say we want to select a portion of the string between a start and a stop location. So say we want to start at location 4 and integer location or index 4 and go up to 13. So this is how it works. It's pretty simple. You just use those same square brackets and you place the start index followed by a colon followed by the stop index. So 4 colon 13, and this is on is eat. So here is 4, which is really the 5th character because Python starts at 0 and it goes all the way to the 13th character. Now, what is interesting here is that it's not obvious, but the index 13 is not included. So the stop is not included. It goes up to but does not include 13. So to prove that, we can look at index 13 and we can see that it is I right here. And we can see that I is not included in the slice, right? On is eat. So it ends at actually the 12th character like this. All right, so that's something to make sure that you know the stop index is not included. It goes up to but does not include that last one. All right, so let's look at a couple more. So say we want to slice from the 10th to the 15th. We can do that. We can go from 1 all the way. You can actually use negative characters, so we can go from 1 to the negative 4th character. Like this. That's possible. All right, now there's actually one more component to slice notation, and that is the step size. So the full notation is start, colon, stop, colon, step. The step size is optional, which is why you don't see it over here. But let's say I get this same slice over here, 4 to 13. You can put in the step size as 1. So you can do start, stop, and step. The step size is just how much is it jumping from one character to the next. And by default, it's just 1. So it's just going directly to the next character. And we can say, okay, go by 2 instead of 1. So this will do every other one. If we look at S over here, you can verify this. So it goes from O to the blank to the S and to the E, and then finally to the T. All right, so we can do any number we want. We can hop by 3, and let's go from 4 to the 20th location like this. It's going to go from O, not sure what the 20th is, but it's going to go by 3. So every third character it's going to keep in the result. That's pretty interesting how slice notation works. You can step by something other than 1. So interestingly enough, both the start and stop location integers are optional as well. So you're like, how is this optional? So let's say we go from 4 to 13 again. So we've seen this already. Now the start location, if we remove it, let's just go ahead and delete it. So there's no start. It is over here, but it does not exist. So what happens is it'll just start from the beginning and go all the way to the 13th integer index. So that's pretty cool. You can start from the beginning and go up to a particular point. You can also do the other way around. So say we want to go from we can say from 13 all the way to the end. So we don't have to have a stop value either, like this. So it goes from 13 all the way to the end. We already saw that we can use negatives, but let's see a few more examples. say from let's get the last 10 characters. So this start in this case will be the negative 10th character. So for 10 from the end, so maybe we get to look at this string again. So approximately right around here, all the way to the end. So the start is the negative 10th character, and then it slices all the way to the end. So let's go ahead and look at this. And there we go. That is that one. So that looks good. All right, so there's all these different combinations that you can use to get a very particular slice. So slice notation is very flexible. Again, it's start, colon, stop, colon, step. The step size is usually not given because it defaults to 1, but you can also omit the start or the stop as well. So one thing to notice is that you cannot assign slice notation to some variable. So I can't say, all right, I want to make the slice 4 to 13 like this. This is incorrect syntax. You will get an error. It has to be inside of the square brackets that is appended to a variable. If you just try the square brackets like this will also not work. You have to just do the slice itself, and this will assign a new value to a string. So we can look at a over here. So that creates the slice. S will still not be changed. So slice notation does not change the underlying string, just like the methods don't change the underlying string. Okay, so there's a trick to reversing a string. This is pretty interesting. It's not very intuitive. So I'm going to show you something. So you can omit the start and the stop like this, and then have a step size of -1. So this is really weird to look at colon, -1. So this is no start. That means it goes from the beginning. It has no end. I didn't put anything there. And it will go by -1. How can you step by -1? This has the effect of reversing the string. So notice it's just in perfectly reverse order. And so we'll get this new string like this. So a very cool trick on how to reverse a string. You just do slice notation with a step size of -1. And one other little note here is that there's no error, there's no index error when slicing. So remember, when we try to select a single value, we'll get an index error. But if we slice, say, from the 100th character to the 200th, these don't exist, but there will be no error. What will be returned is an empty string. So we'll say, all right, well, that's not an error, but the slices return nothing, like just a string with no length whatsoever. So you will not get an error here if you go outside of the bounds of the string. All right, so that concludes selecting substrings with slice notation. The main components are start and step, and or start and stop, and you can include step if you want to jump by more than just 1.